Today we're going to talk about 10 things that I would not declutter or throw away in the process of you getting rid of all your stuff. Now, the only reason I think this will be helpful is because these 10 categories or ideas of things are where I made my own personal mistakes, where I regret giving away things or I regret trashing things and I wish I could take it back, but we can't. Now, while I can honestly say I'm not living in a state of regret, I'm glad I am where I am now in a very decluttered home. I will say though, I wish I had this list while I was in the middle of all of the decluttering and I had more direction on what to not get rid of. So let's start with just two overarching ideas. So the first one is don't get rid of stuff if you're feeling anxiety about it. If it's stressing you out to get rid of something, then don't do it yet. Give yourself time to process through why is this so upsetting to get rid of. There are many things that I've done this with, but what I would do is either hush the room, which I talked about in my last video, or what I would do is also just let it be for a little while, stop thinking about it, and maybe eventually you will be ready to declutter it, or maybe you won't, and you can just say, it's okay, I don't have to declutter it. So recently I'm thinking about a pair of earrings that I thought I was ready to declutter. I wasn't positive though. I was feeling a little anxiety, so I put them in another room just to see if I went back for them. Well, when I was ready to start decluttering some of those things in that bag, I was like, I just don't think I want to get rid of them. And instead of just throwing out the thing because it was in the bag and I hadn't gone back for it, I took the earrings back out and I'm keeping them. I know if we do that constantly, we're never going to be able to declutter enough to where we want to be. But if there are things that you really don't feel ready to let go of, don't declutter them. It's not time. For whatever reason, your brain and body are not ready to deal with it, and that's okay. So number 2 is decluttering other people's stuff. And while you would think this would be an obvious, when you are really in the mindset of decluttering and getting rid of stuff, you get so tired of seeing those things that you know or you think you know other people haven't been using and you just want to see it gone, right? And so often I would get rid of things that I just thought nobody wanted, and then occasionally that would come back to bite me. So what I have learned is that in our family, we have different dynamics. I am the one that really likes to declutter. I actually enjoy it. It's something that I have learned is a great de-stressor for me if I'm getting overwhelmed. But my husband and my daughter are not like that. They don't enjoy decluttering. So we figured out processes that we can use in order to declutter and help each other. So with my husband, I don't touch his tools. He has an area downstairs that I don't touch anything down there because I don't know what to do with it. So unless he is here and he wants to help me, I don't declutter that area. I will clean that area. I'll get rid of trash and I'll put things back away where they belong, but I'm not going to get rid of anything in that area. Now, if it's clothing, where my husband is much more easygoing and doesn't really care, I will gather up things that I've noticed he hasn't been wearing, or maybe it's a little too tight, or maybe it's worn out, and I'll just ask him about it when he gets home. Hey, can I get rid of this? Is this ready to go? And he'll say yes or no, and we'll move on with our life. So that takes the process of decluttering off of his plate and lets him make quick, easy decisions. Where my daughter, she's much younger, I will gather up things in her room I've noticed she hasn't used, and I will put them in a space that she knows about. And I've told her many times, if you are looking for something, just tell mommy or go to the bag and find what you want. It's all in this one area. So she feels secure that nothing is gotten rid of. It's just in a different place so that my room can feel more open and more organized. Then after a few months or so, if I've noticed she hasn't gone to any of that stuff that I brought downstairs, what I'll do is I'll just let her go through the basket and we'll get rid of the rest of it. What I've noticed is that, yes, she usually does go in and grab some things out, but she is more willing to get rid of stuff as time has gone on. She will see those little things that she's like, oh yeah, I don't want that, or I haven't been using that in a long time. I haven't even thought about it. And she's slowly learning that, oh, I can get rid of these things. I'm ready. And so that's really all I want to teach her, is to know and be able to identify that feeling of, oh yeah, I don't need this. I'm ready to let it go. All right, so now let's get into actual physical things. Number 3, the third thing that I wouldn't declutter, and I have before, but I wouldn't do it anymore, is shampoo, bottles, and conditioners. So the reason I'm saying this is because if you come across a shampoo or conditioner that you don't like and you've brought into your house, there's a lot of different ways that you can use shampoo and conditioner. You can use it for your body, but you can also clean your car with it. You can just use it, a shampoo, as a kind of soap to clean anything. I've even read that you can clean your clothes with it. Just mix shampoo with some water and get a little toothbrush or something and clean out the stains on your clothes. So there's lots of different options for cleaners like shampoo, conditioner, and of course soap. If you have a bunch of soap hanging around your house, like maybe you've gotten that like 24 pack of Dove and now you're regretting it, just say I'm going to do a no buy year and I'm not buying any soap until all of this is gone. I feel like that always helps my brain to kind of click and be like, okay, I made a mistake, but I'm going to fix it now. And this is how I'm fixing it, instead of just decluttering and getting rid of all that stuff that we eventually are going to need to use anyway. Now, number 4 is reading glasses or prescription glasses. If you're getting rid of, maybe it's something that's gotten old, I don't want you just throwing those things away, which is something that I feel like me and my husband normally did. Not that I wear glasses, but he does. But what I have learned from my grandma and my mom is that there are a lot of places where you can donate your prescription glasses to. And so for us here in Virginia, there are local libraries. I believe some Walmarts actually do too, where you can donate them to a place called the Lions Club is who collects them. And they actually take them, and if they're in pretty good shape still, which I feel like most of our glasses usually are, they will send them on to other missions, optical missions around the world, so people can use your glasses. So there are great ways of giving away your glasses to people that are actually really desperate for what you have. And number 5 is plants. Plants are something that I would never just throw away or declutter, because plants are something that, one, it can easily be a gift to give other people. If you have a plant in your house that maybe you don't like as much anymore or you're ready to let go of, then give it to somebody who you love. There are tons of people that are just like me who love having plants around their house, so I'm sure they'd be very grateful. But also, I was once given a rose bush, which was really small. It was like this big, seriously, when I first got it. And then I thought it died. But instead of just throwing it in the trash like I normally would, I stuck it outside, put some dirt around it, and I was like, girl, if you want to live, you're going to live. It lived. And this rose bush is huge now. It's not my favorite kind of rose bush. It doesn't have a really strong smell to it, but it's a living plant that I didn't just throw away. It has worth still. I put it outside and it ended up thriving, which is amazing that something that looked basically dead can still come back to life and be so beautiful when you give it the right thing that it needs. So number 6 is well-made furniture. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, you know my husband is a craftsman, and he definitely does it as a side thing. He usually just makes things for us, but it is very well-made furniture with real wood, and we stain it whatever color we enjoy, and it's beautiful. Something that I would never have known is so valuable until I have it, because I don't really have any antiques. I wasn't given any, but I do appreciate well-made furniture now that my husband has made me several pieces. So if you do have well-made furniture, but you literally can't find anywhere else to put it, maybe it's just too big for where you're living or it's not your style, then at least look up and see if you can sell it, see what it might be worth, or send it to an auction and see if you can get some money for it, because antiques are something that I think a lot of people are looking for. It's not just that plywood board, that junk that you get from all the thrift stores or IKEA. If it's real furniture, there is a guarantee that people are really going to be seeking after that. The 7th thing that I wouldn't get rid of sounds really silly, I feel like, but it's our keychain holder. We've had that probably since we've moved in. So about 7 or 8 years. It might even be older than that. I can't remember if we had it in our old house, but we very well might have. And it is the perfect piece for everything we need. It holds our keys, so I have stopped losing my keys and misplacing them everywhere. And it also has a place for our mail holder. We sometimes will put bags for poop bags when we take our dogs out in there. And so it has a lot of multi-use. So finding those small pieces that are organizational pieces that really function well in your house, and don't just get rid of them immediately. Really think about, do I have a replacement for this where my keys can go that I'm going to be just as happy? In our decluttering journey, sometimes myself, maybe not you, will get overly zealous and just want to start getting rid of a lot of stuff because I feel how much better it feels to get rid of stuff. But my key holder has always been one of those things that stuck around no matter what, because I haven't ever found anything in this house that I find functions as well as that. So finding those really functional pieces and not getting rid of them when we get super excited to declutter. Number 8 are those small, useful bowls we have around our house. So one of them that I can think of is actually right behind me. And I got it, I guess, a couple of years ago, maybe. And it was just beautiful. My daughter has used it all around our house. She'll carry things in it. She likes to go outside and collect these little red berries that are on one of our trees. She'll create little like bird's nests with this little bowl, but also we use it to hold my chopstick and our remote right here. So it's traveled everywhere and been everywhere. So if you are on your decluttering journey, that might be something that you want to hang on to, a couple of those around your house. And number 9 are useful things for your work, your job, or your hobbies. This has been something that I have had a hard time with because I get irritated by these functional things. Like I got a new tripod and I was very much on a mission to get rid of the other tripod, but the other tripod I have is the only one that has a ring light. So on certain videos that I do, I like to have a ring light. Now it's not that often, but I do like to have it. And if I got rid of it, I would have to then go get another light and buy something extra. I also have microphones that I use when I'm doing my videos, and there's extra pieces to the microphone that I don't necessarily need all of the time. But if I was to just go through and declutter them, it would be very annoying and a hassle if I had to go back and rebuy it eventually later. So those little useful pieces of equipment that we might be using for our jobs, or those little things that we use for our hobbies that you might not need all of the time, but if you declutter them, can you already envision those days that you would need those things and then you wouldn't have them and you'd have to either go buy them or buy the whole thing all over again, which would be a big expense or a hassle. So normally I don't say to hang on to things that are just in case items, but when it is something that is your job or something like a hobby that you do all of the time, those just in case items, keep a few of them, might be helpful for you. All right, so we only have 2 more, but if you are enjoying learning about minimalism and decluttering, then please hit that subscribe button and hang out with us for the next video. And also, if you're going through a decluttering journey, then throw a heart emoji down below and let us all know that you're in this journey together with us. But number 10 is functional pieces. So when I'm thinking about functional pieces around my house, I'm thinking about my laundry rack that I have downstairs. I got maybe 4 or 5 years ago for my birthday. And while it's not the best laundry rack in the world, it's very functional. I do use it all of the time and I really enjoy using it and I really like it. Also, our hamper that we have down there that we collect our clothes in, that one's nice because it's the only plastic one that we actually have. All the other ones we have are wood. And while wood is great, and they're baskets that I happen to just have around my house anyway, so I use them as hampers, the plastic one is really nice because if we have a wet thing like a rag or an old towel that's wet, I'll throw them in that hamper because it's plastic and it won't smell and it won't mold. I'm also thinking about functional items like dishware. There are certain dishware that I'm sure that you use on a semi-regular basis. Don't declutter too much of that. Keep the pieces that you notice yourself using every month or every other month. Think about keeping a few of those pieces. Now, if you only use it once scattered every couple of years, maybe you don't really need it, or you could reach out and find someone who has the same item. But they're things that I like to have in my house so that when I want to bake at night, I don't have to run out to somebody else's house and get their baking dish and bring it home. I don't have to use a one-use item. Now, I don't live by that theory with everything. If you really aren't using that kitchen utensil or kitchen appliance, then get rid of it. But if it's something that is very helpful and you are seeing yourself using it off and on, then keep it. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. And number 11 are paper products. So before I became really dedicated to not buying any more paper products, I always bought paper towels. So I had a healthy amount of paper towels when I did decide that I didn't want to use them anymore, that I was only going to use rags. But instead of just throwing all the paper towels away or giving them away, decluttering all of them, I decided I was going to hang on to the paper towels that I did have until they were all gone. And they are all gone now. I don't have any left. I think I do have a few cleaning wipes left. I don't buy those Clorox wipes anymore, but we had gotten some maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, and I use them very sparingly on occasion. And so I have probably like 3 or 4 left in that little baggie. So I'm not just throwing it away just because I don't use it very often. They are useful. And at least this way, before it goes to the landfill, I have actually used it for the purpose that it was created. So that makes me feel a little bit better. But if you enjoy learning about minimalism and decluttering, then please join this little community and subscribe. And I will see you guys again very soon.